Hi everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
Hey everybody, I'm Shane. So we're still talking about World's Fairs, right?
That's right. How exciting.
Yeah, and all the really cool inventions that have come out during World's Fairs.
Exactly. I was doing some research actually. There are quite a few interesting things that showed up. Did you know that ice cream cones were first introduced on World's Fair?
Wow.
It was like 1904 or something.
Imagine before there was an ice cream cone, you just had to eat it in your hand. Oh, no.
Well, you probably have
Put it in a
bowl or
bowl?
something.
Okay. Hey, you know Coke, right?
Yes, I love Coke.
Well, Coke wasn't introduced there, but Cherry Coke was introduced at World's Fair.
I love Cherry Coke. You can't really find them though nowadays.
Also, we were talking about landmarks.
That's right.
The Eiffel Tower.
Uh-huh.
The Space Needle in Seattle was also built for a World's Fair.
Wow, I didn't know that. And also the fax machine.
Also, a fax is like an invention
That's right.
that was invented for or showed at the
World's Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And
but it's very cool because back then when you want to write a letter to somebody and it would take a long time for them to actually get it. So that was like a first instant messaging thing,
yeah,
right?
it's really important for businesses too, right?
Exactly.
And then for home, the dishwasher.
I don't have a dishwasher.
You don't have a dishwasher? Oh wait, your hands are your dishwasher?
Yes, and it was usually take a lot of time.
I use a dishwasher because I'm lazy.
So there's like a lot of cool things that we can see at the World's Fair. I can't wait.
All right, let's learn more about the World on Show in part 2.
All right.
We'll be right back.
(1939 to 1987) Social progress. Around the midpoint of the 20th century, the tone of the exhibitions began to change. The focus shifted from technology to the idea of building a prosperous, shared future for humankind. Exhibitions featured themes such as building the world of tomorrow and progress and harmony for mankind. This is not to say that technology was ignored, though. Touchscreen technology, for example, was one of many modern inventions that debuted at a World's Fair during this era.
All right, so in part 2, we're going to be talking about the time from 1939 to 1987.
Okay.
And this is a time of social progress.
Ooh.
So we have social progress, that means the society is getting better, right?
It's progressing.
Life is getting better.
That's
There's
right.
Progress. Around the midpoint of the 20th century, the tone of the exhibitions began to change. So the tone, the feeling kind of changed, right? What was important or what they will show off there is starting to change.
So before it was like mainly about, like the technological advancement, right?
Exactly.
So now that tone began to change.
Right. The focus shifted from technology
Okay.
to the idea of building a prosperous, shared future for humankind. So rather than building things like, out of bricks and like building buildings or making some kind of invention, a thing, we're going to try to build the relationship between humans and people.
And create a better life. Right, for people and for humankind.
Peacefulness.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, right?
Wow. Okay. So exhibitions feature themes such as building the world of tomorrow and progress and harmony for mankind.
Okay.
That sounds really, really nice, and I like the idea of that. Okay, so our first vocabulary word is prosperous, right?
Okay, yeah.
So prosperous is an adjective, and it just means something that is great. Usually when you're talking about prosperous or when you're using this word, you're usually talking about something financially, right?
Yeah,
Making money or economically.
Like we have the verb to prosper. We're normally thinking it's going to be financially.
That's right.
But it's not always has to be. You can prosper in your life just means that you're getting better and things are improving.
Definitely. So in our sentence, it says, experts believe the company has a prosperous future ahead of it. So in our sentence here, it just means that I think it has a bright future ahead of it. Maybe you'll be making a lot of money, the company will be doing very well.
And the people who work in that company will be happy, right? It does have that feeling, and maybe it's because they have more money, but maybe not, because it's not always that you have more money and you'll feel happy, right? So prosperous has the idea of also being happy, right?
You're right.
Kind of. So we have the vocabulary word theme. So this is a noun. So a theme just means like an idea or like a main point.
Or like a topic that you're focused on.
Exactly. So for example, the novel deals with themes of family and tradition. So it means like the topic of the novel, right, is talking about family and tradition.
That's right. Okay, and harmony is our next vocabulary word, and that is a noun. So when you're talking about harmony, like you can talk about it like in the music, like if you're talking about playing different notes together, that creates like a really beautiful sound.
They go really well together and complement each other.
You are right. That's also harmony. But you can also use this word for like, the relationship between people.
So if we get along well together, right?
We live in harmony. Like we don't argue a lot, we don't fight a lot, and we actually respect and communicate with each other.
It's interesting when you connect it to the music because you really think that these notes go together and they kind of improve each other.
Exactly.
So if humans are living in harmony, we also improve each other and make the world a beautiful place.
And I really like that word. Okay, so in our example sentence, it says the singer wrote a song about a world where everyone lives together in harmony. And that's what we talked about. When everyone lives together in harmony, you won't see fights, you won't see wars, you won't see arguments, right?
What do you think about?
Peace.
Peace. Even though in Asia, you think this means victory, but in fact, in the West, this means peace.
Peace, that's right. Okay.
This is not to say that technology was ignored, though. Touchscreen technology, for example, was one of many modern inventions that debuted at a World's Fair during this era. So of course, there's still going to be technological developments. But the key, the thing that we're really going to focus on is making the world a better place for us to live in.
Of course.
And of course, technology and some inventions are going to help us to do that, right?
And touchscreen was actually a very important invention too. I think it made our lives a lot easier and a lot more convenient. Everyone has like, a touchscreen phone or an iPad or something that, helps your life on a daily basis, right?
Exactly.
And era is our next vocabulary word, and that is a noun. Era just means like a period of time. That's right. So in our example sentence, it says many great things were invented during that era. And that's definitely right.
Yes.
Okay, how about let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Okie doke.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文读到，1851到1938这段期间的世界博览会是着重在工业，那大家关注的是技术的发明与科技的进步。老师们用到 advancement， 就是在 advance 后面加上 ment 来构成这个名词，表示进展、发展或是提升的意思。好，那么接着来看到1939年到1987这段期间的世博会是着重于社会进步。课文就写到说，大约在20世纪中期呢，展览会的基调开始改变，焦点就从科技转移到为人类打造一个繁荣共享的未来。那展览会就有主打像是那种打造未来世界啊，为人类带来进步与和谐啊等等那些主题。不过这并不是说科技被忽视了，在这段期间，世博会里面也有许多现代发明首次亮相。来看单字 prosperous。Prosperous 它是形容繁荣的、兴盛的，去掉字尾的 ous 会得到它的动词 prosper 就有繁荣、兴旺、成功的意思。下一个单字 theme 表示主题或是题目，那么 harmony 它表示和谐、协调或是和睦，是不可数名词。老师在讲解的时候呢，用到 complement 这个动词 complement complement 它可以表达衬托出什么，跟什么相辅相成，补足什么什么的意思。再来看到 era 或是念作 era， 这个字表示时代或是纪元。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是句型 This is not to say 加上 that 子句是表达这并不表示怎么样怎么样，这并不是说怎么样怎么样。This 也可以用 that 来表达。举例来说 Dave is hardworking, but this is not to say that he doesn't like to have fun. Dave 很努力，但这不表示他不爱享乐。好，这回到课文中。
1988 to present, nation branding and beyond. From the late 80s, World's Fairs mostly became vehicles for countries to build their national brands. A clear example of this was the 2010 Shanghai World's Fair, whose enormous scale and focus on urbanization helped promote China's image as a rapidly rising modern power. However, the 2015 World's Fair in Milan, which had the theme Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, once again signaled a shift in tone. With issues such as public health and the climate emergency currently dominating, a new era of World's Fairs seems to be upon us. Instead of building up national images, World's Fairs of the future will focus on solving the crises our planet faces and act as beacons that light the way to a better tomorrow.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome, everybody.
So we're still talking about, the themes and the purpose of the World's Fair, right?
Right, we kind of talked about the beginning, and then we talked about the middle. Now we're going to talk about present from the modern time.
That's right.
From 1988
To present.
until right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so in this topic, we're going to be talking about nation branding and beyond. So nation branding. So we know branding is kind of like in business.
Yes.
You want to make, when people think of your brand, what do they think of? So you try to promote that, your brand, and have people think good things about it. That's what branding is.
So nation branding means you want people to think something great about your country,
Think your
right?
country is great.
So it's a time to kind of show what your country's good at.
Show off.
All right.
Your country be like, look how awesome we are.
Okay.
From the late 80s, World's Fairs mostly became vehicles for countries to build their national brands. So they were vehicles. That just means that they used the World's Fairs in order to build their brand.
All right.
A clear example of this was the 2010 Shanghai World's Fair, whose enormous scale and focus on urbanization helped promote China's image as a rapidly rising modern power.
Wow.
So China wanted people to stop thinking of it as kind of like, farmers and kind of a little bit backwards.
That's right.
They want to be seen as a very urbanized and modern country.
Because it has progressed a lot as a nation, right? If you look at the big cities in China, there's so many cities that were developing rapidly.
Right. So that was a good place. The Shanghai World's Fair is a great place to just show it off.
Exactly.
Like, check us out, world. Look how developed we are now.
Nation branding. And enormous is our next vocabulary word, and that's an adjective. Enormous just means very, very big. It's huge, it's large, very, very big.
Gigantic.
You're right, it's gigantic. So in our example sentence, it says, my brother has had an enormous influence on me. That means maybe he has done something great and he really changed me a lot, perhaps in a good way, right?
Yeah, well, hopefully. I think so, because you're great.
That's right.
I'll definitely promote you to other people.
Promote, and that's our next vocabulary word. What does promote mean?
Basically, to promote it means to present somebody or something as being good.
You
Basically,
are right.
yeah. So, because you want this thing to become more popular or people to like it, right? So, for example, you can say the area is being promoted as a great place to take the family for a vacation. So you're telling people this is a great place for a vacation. You're promoting it.
Oh, I understand. That sounds really cool. So, however, the 2015 World's Fair in Milan, which had the theme Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life once again signaled a shift in tone. So remember how we talked about how it was first about technology and then it was about creating a better life for mankind.
Harmony.
Yes, and living in harmony. And now it's shifting its focus again, shifting the tone again. And with issues, okay? So for example, like the issues that we have right now, it says with issues such as public health and the climate emergency currently dominating, a new era of world's fairs seems to be upon us. So we know what's really important right now. Everyone is focused on, the climate change, how we can help our Earth all together. So that becomes, like the theme of our world's fairs.
Right, helping the planet and people who live on this planet. So
exactly.
Technology doesn't destroy it. In fact, it will help it build it better. Right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Instead of building up national images, World's Fairs of the future will focus on solving the crises our planet faces and act as beacons that light the way to a better tomorrow.
Oh, I love that sentence.
Yeah, lighting the way to a better tomorrow. So what do you think?
We have a question for everyone,
what
right?
Do you think?
And we have a question for you too. What is the purpose of a World's Fair? After learning it all, about all the history and everything, important facts about World's Fairs, what is the purpose of the World's Fair?
The purpose of a World's Fair is actually not so simple, right? Or it's simple, but it's not only one purpose, right? So we have technology, and things that are new and what's important in this world are going to be shown there. Sometimes that will be things, but sometimes it's going to be themes about what in the world that we care about right now.
Like the issues and problems.
Exactly. So it's really a way to bring new ideas and new things into the world for everybody because we're all on this planet together.
Exactly. And how to create a better world for everybody.
Yeah. Let's do it together, guys.
Let's do it together.
Woohoo!
And we'll see you guys next time.
好，那世界博览会的下一个阶段是从1988年至今。从80年代晚期开始，世博会主要变成各国打造国家品牌的手段。有一个明显的例子就是2010年的上海世博会了。它的浩大规模，还有对都市化的关注，都有助于提升中国作为一个迅速崛起现代强国的形象。好，那么2015年的米兰世博会主题则是喂养地球，能源求生，这又再次显示这个基调的改变了。我们来看看单字 enormous， 它是形容巨大的、极大的。那么 promote 是当动词来表达宣传、推广，它也有提升、促进的意思。那来看补充单字 urbanization 或是 urbanization， 它是表达都市化、城市化。那我们来学一下它的动词是 urbanize urbanize， 就可以表达使什么城市化、都市化。Shane 老师用到 developed 这个字，它可以是 develop 的过去分词，也可以当形容词来形容是发达的意思哦。好，那么课文最后一段提到说，由于目前公共医疗保健与气候紧急状况等等的议题啊，目前在世界就是占了主导地位，世博会的新时代似乎又即将到来了。那这边两个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，来看第一个重点是 seem 当连缀动词表示似乎好像，后面可以接 to 加原形动词。例如 She seems to know the truth， 她似乎知道真相诶。好，第二重点是 something is upon somebody， 是表达将要发生、即将来临、近在咫尺的意思。例如 Spring is nearly upon us， 春天即将到来。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
1939 to 1987, Social Progress. Around the midpoint of the 20th century, the tone of the exhibitions began to change. The focus shifted from technology to the idea of building a prosperous, shared future for humankind. Exhibitions featured themes such as building the world of tomorrow and progress and harmony for mankind. This is not to say that technology was ignored, though. Touchscreen technology, for example, was one of many modern inventions that debuted at a World's Fair during this era. 1988 to present, nation branding and beyond. From the late 80s, World's Fairs mostly became vehicles for countries to build their national brands. A clear example of this was the 2010 Shanghai World's Fair, whose enormous scale and focus on urbanization helped promote China's image as a rapidly rising modern power. However, the 2015 World's Fair in Milan, which had the theme Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, once again signaled a shift in tone. With issues such as public health and the climate emergency currently dominating, a new era of World's Fairs seems to be upon us. Instead of building up national images, World's Fairs of the future will focus on solving the crises our planet faces and act as beacons that light the way to a better tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Matt.
And I'm Nina.
Today we're going to play Word Drop. We each have 3 words or phrases on these cards that we have not looked at yet, and we need to fit those words or phrases into a conversation as smoothly as possible.
All
so
right.
I guess I can start this time?
Go for it.
Okay. I went to the zoo last week, and I really like going to the zoo because there's so many interesting animals there.
Yeah.
I saw the pandas, and there's the young panda, which is very cute.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of animals, and but the one that like really impresses me is the African elephants, because I knew they were big, but to see them in person, they just look enormous.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of elephants, that reminds me of the time I went to Thailand, actually. And you know how there's this big culture, or at least it's a big part of tourism, for people to ride on the elephant, and that's what they promote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that in this, in this time right now where everyone uses social media a lot, and people like to post their travel photos and these things with animals or with other things, and I think people are a little too into showing off what they do on their trips and what they do in their lives, but I think it's just a character. I think it's just become a characteristic of the people living in this era.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, speaking of this era, you know how we always have parties and things like that, and if none of all of the parties were just like, oh yeah, show up, you can wear whatever you want, and it would be less fun, like there are no specific things that you have to wear. So usually people in this era try to make a theme out of their party.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, theme parties. If people, it's nice when people can get together and dress the same, and it's nice when you can see what people are wearing, and they're all wearing the same thing. So there really is a lot of harmony.
Okay. Yeah, the harmony. And at parties, sometimes when you go to people's houses, you see these sculptures, right? It's especially in Taiwan, you have the red, maybe the Buddhas or the cat that kind of goes like this. It's supposed to be prosperous, if you didn't know.
Okay. that's good stuff. These, yeah.
See you next time.